Hello guys, today I am going to start chapter 2 of Business Studies class 12, that is Principles of Management. Under this we are going to discuss the subtopics, that is meaning, nature and significance, Fayol's Principles of Management, Teller's Scientific Management, under this principles and techniques. Meaning of Principles of Management. A principle is a fundamental statement of truth that provides guidance to thoughts and action. Principles of management are the statement of fundamental truth which act as a guidelines for taking managerial actions and decisions. Nature, feature, characteristics of management of principles. The principles of management have been developed on the basis of live experiences of happenings of the past. The main features are: number 1, universal applicability. Principles of management can be applied in all types of organization, business as well as non-business, small and large organization. Number 2, general guidance. There are general guidelines to actions and decisions making. However, they do not provide ready-made solutions as the business environment is ever changing or dynamic. Number 3, formed by practice and experimentation. They are developed through the rough research work on the basis of experiences of managers. Number 4, flexible. Principles of management can be adopted and modified by the practicing managers as per the demands of the situation, as they are non-made principles. Number 5, principle of unity of direction. These principles are intended to establish relationship between causes and effect, so they can be used in similar situations. Point number 6, contingents. Management principles are contingents or dependent upon the prevailing situation at a particular period of time. The application of principles has to be changed according to the nature, size and type of organization. Now we move to our next topic, that is significance or importance of management. Significance or importance of principles of management. The significance of the principles of management can be derived from their utility, which can be understood from the following points. Point number 1, providing managers with useful insights into reality. Management principles guide managers to take right decision at right time by improving their knowledge, ability and understanding of various managerial situations and circumstances. Point number 2, optimum utilization of resources. The management principles insist on or planned activities and systematic organization of men and materials in the organization. Principles are designed to get maximum benefits from the human efforts and other resources. Point number 3, scientific decisions. Managers have to take number of decisions every day, so they need to assess the resources of organization very carefully so that appropriate decision can be taken by using the available resources in the best possible manner. The management principles enable the managers to approach various problems systematically and scientifically. Point number 4, change in technology. Every businessman has to take decisions according to the changes taking place in the business environment. Management principles train the managers to adapt to the changes in right direction and at right level in the organization. Effective administration. Administration is the function of top level management. In their function, major plans and policies are forced. The management principles act as a guideline and base to form various administrative policies to have systematic work in the organization. Point number 6, social responsibility. A business is creation of society and makes uses of resources of society. So it must do something for the society too. Management principles act as a guide to the managers to perform social responsibilities. Fayol's principles of management. Henry Fayol, 1841 to 1925, got degree in mining engineering and joined French Mining Company in 1860. As an engineer, in 1888, he was promoted as the managing director of the company. At that time, the company was in the situation of insolvency. He accepted the challenge and by using his managerial skills, he turned the future of the company. For his contribution, he is well known as the father of general management. Fayol developed 14 principles of management which act as guidelines for managers to perform managerial activities. These principles are as follows. Number 1, principles of division of work. According to their principle, the whole work must be divided into small tasks or units, and instead of assigning the whole work to one person, one task or unit of work should be assigned according to capability, qualification, and experiences of the person. According to Fayol, the positive impact of this principle are: number 1, it leads to specialization of work, and number 2, it improves efficiency level of an employee. Point number 2, principles of authority and responsibility. Authority means power to take decision. Responsibility means obligation to complete the job assigned on time. According to this principle, there must be parity or balance between authority and responsibility. Excess of authority without making responsibility may bring negative results, and excess of responsibility without matching authority will not allow the worker to complete his job on time. Therefore, there is a need to bring parity between both for best results. The positive impacts of this principle are: sub number 1, no misuse of authority; sub number 2, help in meeting responsibilities on time without any delay. Point number 3, principle of discipline. Fayol insists that discipline is required at superior as well as subordinate level, the disciplinary rules shall not be applicable only on subordinates, but discipline requires good superiors at every level. Clear and fair agreement between superior and subordinates. Positive effects of these principles are: sub number 1 point, systematic working in the organization. Sub number 2 point, improves efficiency. Point number 4, principle of unity of command. According to this principle, an employee should receive orders from one boss only, because if he receives orders from more than one boss, then he will be confused and will not be able to understand that whose order must be executed first. And on the other hand, if employee is receiving orders from more than one boss, he gets chances to give excuses by saying that he was busy in executing the order of other boss. The positive effects of this principle are: sub number 1 point, that is, no confusion in the mind of subordinates. Point number 2, no ego clashes among the superiors. And sub number point 3, improving effectiveness in working. Point number 5, principle of unity of direction. According to this principle, one unit means one place, that is, the effort of all the members and employees of organization must be directed towards one direction, that is, in achievement of common goal. The positive effects of these principles are: sub point number 1, achievement of organizational goals. Sub point number 2, efforts of all the employees get unified towards one direction only. Point number 6, principle of subordination of individual interest to general interest. According to this principle, the interest of organization must supersede the interest of individual or employee. He also specifies that individual interest or objectives will be fulfilled only when the organizational objectives is achieved. The goal of organization must not be sacrificed. Because individual will be able to achieve their objective only when organization prosper. The positive impact of this principle are: sub point number 1, achievement of organizational goals. Sub point number 2, coordination between individual and organizational goal. Point number 7, principle of centralization and decentralization. Centralization refers to concentration of authority or power in few hands at the top level. Decentralization means evenly distribution of power at every level of management. According to Henry Fayol, a company must not be completely centralized or decentralized, but there must be a combination of both depending upon the nature and size of the organization. The positive impacts of this principle are: sub point number 1, benefit of centralization as well as decentralization. Sub point number 2, fast decisions at operation level and strict control by top level. Point number 8, principle of remuneration of employees. According to this principle, employees in the organization must be paid fairly or adequately to give them maximum satisfaction. The remuneration must be just and fair because if employees are underpaid, they will not be satisfied, and an unsatisfied person can never contribute his maximum. The fair wages is determined according to subpoint number 1, financial capacity of a concern or firm or organization. Subpoint number 2, by keeping in mind the Minimum Wages Act of the government. Subpoint number 3, the salary and wages paid by the competitors. Point number 9, principle of scalar chain. Scalar chain means line of authority or chain or superior from highest to lowest rank. Fayol insists that this chain must be followed strictly in the organization. Every information must pass through every key of their chain. No skipping of anyone should be allowed. The following diagram explains the principle. We can see in this diagram a triangular shape diagram. On the top we can see A, and from the left hand side B, C, D, E, F is the level, and on the right hand side L, M, N, O, P are the another side of the levels of the management. According to the scalar principle, if E wants to contact O, he has to move through E, D, C, B, A, L, M, N, O. If this is broken, then there are chances of communication gap in the organization. But sometimes following scalar chain becomes a long process, and if some important information has to be passed, it gets delayed. So in case of ever giving urgent information, Fayol permitted a shortcut in the chain, which is called gangplank. Gangplank permits direct communication between the employee working at the same level of authority without failing or following the scalar chain. Under this, we can see the gangplank diagram. It is similar to the above one. For example, if E wants to connect to O to pass urgent information, then instead of following the long route of scalar chain, he can directly communicate with O by constructing a gangplank. But no gangplank can be constructed between people working at different level, that is no gangplank between E and P. The positive impacts of the principles are systematic flow of information, no communication gap in the organization. Point number 10, principle of order. According to this principle, order does not mean command, but it refers to orderly arrangement of men and materials, that is a fixed place for everything and everyone in the organization. Fayol insists that there must be a fixed place for things to be kept and sent on cabin for every individual in the organization. The positive impacts of this principle are subpoint number 1, no wastage of time in search of men and material. Subpoint number 2, that is smooth way and systematic working in the organization. Point number 11. Principle of equity. Equity refers to kind, fair, and just treatment to employees. Employees will put their maximum efforts only when they are treated with kindness and justice. Equality doesn't mean equal salary to a peon and a supervisor, but equality means application of safe disciplinary rules, leave rules in the safe way, irrespective to their grade, position, and gender. The positive effects are employees get satisfied, and subpoint number 2 motivates the employee and boost up the morale of the employee. Point number 12. Principle of stability of tenure and personnel. It refers to no frequent termination and transfer. According to this principle, the management must provide the feeling of job security among the employees, cannot contribute their maximum frequent turnover of employees is bad for the organization, and such decision must be taken when they are almost unavoidable. The positive impact of this principle are improves efficiency level of employees, and subpoint number 2, that is no wastage of time and resources. Point number 13, principle of initiative. Fayol suggested that employee in the organization must be given an opportunity to take some initiative in making and executing a plan. This can give immense satisfaction to employees. So, manager must welcome suggestions and ideas from employees before framing the plan. The positive impacts are subpoint number 1 develops the feeling of belongingness in employees. Subpoint number 2 helps in achieving target on time. Point number 14, principle of spirit de corps or corps. Spirit de corps or spirit de corps means union is strength. Fayol emphasized in the organization must consider him a part or member of a team and try to achieve the team goal, because team contribution is always better and more than individual contribution. The positive effects of this principle are subpoint number 1 develops team spirit, subpoint number 2 achievement of group goal. Conclusion of 14 principles which were given by father of management, that is Henry Fayol. According to Fayol, the above 14 principles discussed is not final with the development of management service. The list can be modified on the basis of experience and deed. Now we are moving to our next topic, that is scientific principles by F.W. Taylor. F.W. Taylor was born in 1856 in USA, United States of America. In 1878, he joined Midville Steel Company as a mechanical engineer. F.W. Taylor's principles and techniques were based on the observation he conducted in factories where methods of production lack planning and working methods were. Meaning of scientific principles. In general language, it means apply scientific tools, methods, and trained personnel in order to increase the output. It insists of replacing of rules of thumb by science. That means decision in the organization must be based on scientific studies conducted by using scientific tools. Definition: according to Taylor, scientific management means knowing exactly why you want men to do and seeing that they do it in the best and cheapest way. Scientific management of principle. Taylor formulated four principles of scientific management, which are as follows. Number one, science not rule of thumb. According to this principle, Taylor insists that each job performed in the organization should be based on scientific inquiry and not on instruction, experience, and hit and miss method. Rule of thumb means dictatorship of managers, whereas scientific decisions are based on cause and effect and scientific measurement of methods and ways of production. Point number two, harmony not discord. According to this principle, those who together in an organization must work in harmony, that is, with natural give and take, and proper is understanding. Generally, in every organization, there are two groups of people, management group and worker group, and both the group works as rival of each other, as workers always feels that they are underpaid and are overburdened with the work, and the management always feels that workers are good for nothing. In this principle, Taylor insists that there is need for both the group to change their attitudes for each other. He insisted that complete change of attitude for each other. Point number 3, cooperation not individualism. According to this principle, work must be carried in cooperation with each other with natural confidence and understanding for each other. The management must take workers in confidence before setting up the standard task for them, because when standards are set up in consultation of workers, when they will try their best to complete and achieve the standard. Point number 4, development of workers to get or to their greatest efficiency and prosperity. Taylor insisted due care should be taken while selecting the employees, and after selecting they must be given job according to their qualification. Employees must be sent for training from time to time to update their knowledge. This will ensure greatest efficiency and prosperity for both company and workers. Scientific techniques of Taylor. Along with scientific principle of management, Taylor developed some scientific technique by conducting various experiments at his workplace. The common techniques are: number 1, functional foremanship. In this technique, Taylor suggested the division of factory in two departments, that is, planning department and production department. Taylor felt that workers must be free from the burden of the planning and they must concentrate on work and production. He suggested that under each department there must be functional experts to supervise, guide, and instruct the workers. Taylor insists on minimum 8 specialists or functional expert to supervise and give advice. This technique is the extinction of principle of division of labor. Taylor said foremen must be intelligent, educated, energetic, honest, specialized or professional expert. All these qualities cannot be found in one person. So Taylor stressed on having 8 experts for under each department to order and guide the workers under planning department. Subpoint number 1, root clerk. This foreman is responsible to fix up the sequence of steps for performing mechanical or manual job. Point number 2, instruction card clerk. This foreman is responsible for giving general instructions necessary to carry on the job in a specified manner. Point number 3, time and cost clerk. This foreman is responsible to fix up the time for starting and completion of job. Point number 4, disciplinarian. This foreman is responsible for job in orderly and systematic way. Under production department, gang boss. They arranges all the mechanics, tools and other resources required for performances of the job so that there is no delay. Speed boss. This foreman assures timely completion of job. Repair boss. This boss ensures that machines and tools are kept in working condition. And point number 4, inspector. This boss keeps a check on quality control of the output, that is production. Point number 2, standard of work. Scientific management always emphasizes on maintaining standards relating to every step of business operation. Standardization does not mean only quality standard, but it refers to setting up standards for size, type, weights, measures, and quality of product. It also refers to standardization of selection of tools, equipments, and machines to be used in the organization. The main objectives of standardization are: subpoint number A, to reduce a given line of product to forced type, size, and characteristics. Subpoint number B, to maintain quality standards. And subpoint number C, to set up performance standard for of man and machine. Point number 3, simplification of work. This principle emphasizes on elimination of unnecessary diversity of products, size and types, as more varieties means more inventory, more type of machinery, more labor cost, etc. By simplifying the task, there can be economy in use of machine, labor, inventory, maintenance, etc. It will also help in improving the quality and reduction of cost. Point number 4, fatigue study. This technique of scientific management is conducted to find out: subpoint number 1 or A, the frequent of rest intervals. Subpoint number B, the duration of rest intervals. Subpoint number C, the number of rest intervals. Taylor suggested that the time period at and frequency of rest interval should not be decided by the wish and experience of manager, but to give scientific approach, fatigue study must be conducted. To conduct fatigue study, Taylor suggested to observe an average worker when he is performing a job and note down the time when that worker starts getting tired and when his efficiency level starts decreasing, then give line a break. This time can be noted to decide the frequent of rest intervals and during break after how much time the worker becomes fresh to rejoin the work can be the time for rest intervals. So, if frequency and time for rest interval is fixed by observing workers, definitely it will be more scientific. Point number 5, method study. The method study technique of scientific management is conducted to find out the one best method or way of performing the job which keeps production cost minimum and makes maximum uses of resources of the organization. Taylor suggested that method of production should not be decided by the rules of thumb but method all the methods should be tried in the organization and the one which brings maximum benefits with minimum cost must be selected. Point number 6, time study. The technique of time study is conducted to determine or the objectives of time study are: subpoint number A, the standard time required to perform a job. Subpoint number B, setting up the standard target for workers. Point number C, determining the number of workers required to perform a job. Subpoint number D, categorizing the workers in efficient and inefficient categories. To conduct the time study, Taylor suggested to observe an average worker when he is performing the job with a stopwatch in hand and note down the average time taken by the worker in completion of job. This should be repeated and observation should be done for 100 times and then take out the average time. Keeping this in mind, the targets for workers should be fixed and the standard time. If the worker is able to achieve the target before the standard time, then he is an efficient worker, and if the worker failed to achieve the target in standard time, then he is an inefficient worker. Motion study. The scientific technique of motion study is conducted, subpoint number A, to determine the movements of workers when they are performing the job. Subpoint number B, to differentiate between productive and productive movements. Point number C, for cutting down unproductive and wasteful movements. And subpoint number D, to design suitable equipment and tools to minimize unproductive movements of workers. Taylor suggested Observing an average worker when he is performing the job and note down all the movements he is doing. This should be repeated for 100 times with different workers. After writing all the movements, classify them in productive and unproductive movement and make the strategy to cut down or minimize the unproductive movement. Differential P-switch system. Point number 8. The scientific technique of differential piece rate system emphasizes on paying different rates of wages for efficient and inefficient employees. To conduct differential wage system, Taylor suggested that the company must fix a standard rate of wage for workers producing standard output on their target. The workers who produce more than the standard target must be paid with a higher rate of wage, and those who produces less than standard output must be paid with a rate less than a standard rate. For example, if the standard rate target is 20 units per day and standard rate is rupees 50 per unit, the worker is producing 20 units must be paid rupees 1000. The worker who is producing 22 units must be paid with a rate higher than standard rate, say suppose rupees 60 per unit. So he will receive rupees 22 units multiplied by 60 rupees equals to 1320 rupees. That is higher rate multiplied by higher output. The worker who is producing less than standard output must be taxed and penalized by paying less than standard rate, say rupees 40 per unit. So if he produces only 18 units, then he will receive 18 into 40 equals to 720 rupees. That is lower output multiplied by lower rate. The difference in wage will motivate the workers to become efficient and work more. Point number 9. Mental revolution. Taylor said that generally in every organization, workers feel that management exploits them, overburdens them with excess work and pay them less. On the other hand, management feels that workers always grumble, they follow go slow policy, damage the equipment and work carelessly. In the technique of mental revolution, Taylor stressed and insisted on subpoint number A, change in mental attitudes of workers and management. Subpoint number B, cooperation between workers and management. Subpoint number C, ruling out feeling of suspicion or prejudice from the minds of workers and management to adopt systematic thinking. Thank you very much, and this chapter has been finished.